Hi, I'm Liz Larson with Transform One Idea, and I am here today with intuitive feng shui practitioner Kanika Babal, all the way from Minnesota. How are you today, Kanika?
Good. How are you, Liz?
I am well. What's it like in Minnesota today? It's fall, so
Cold. We are living in the winter wonderland. So yeah, it's getting there. Ready for the ski weather now pretty soon.
yeah. Well, I'm in Oregon, so we're not that cold yet, but we're getting there as well. It's bundle up season, so time for some hot cocoa and marshmallows, huh?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So I have to say, I'm really at a big disadvantage here. I mean, I think I know what feng shui is, but I probably don't in going through the notes and looking at your website. So would you give us just a tiny overview of what is traditional feng shui?
Feng Shui is so massively misunderstood by people, and it's interesting, right from the pronunciation, how they say, how they pronounce Feng Shui to what they really believe about it, can differ from a person to person, from a mind to mind. The easiest way I feel I can define Feng Shui is basically an acupuncture of a place, like how you do acupuncture to your bodies. I feel feng shui is basically doctoring a place, acupuncturing a place. Um, it's not just, it's way more than moving furniture around or aligning your environment. It's way more than that. I feel feng shui is a lot to do with harmonizing your internals to sync with your outsides. So your environment is in sync with how you feel from inside, what you feel about it. If I was to take you to a space that didn't align with your inside, you would never be happy and comfortable with it. So it's not really about moving a piece of furniture or putting a crystal in your home. It's way more than that. It's very intuitive, it's very internal, it's very blissful.
Well, I really appreciate that explanation. I mean, that's interesting. I've had acupuncture before, so I kind of understand that that's a creating energetic flow in the body. So is that what you're saying, that the function of feng shui really is to create a positive energetic flow?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's definitely syncing up the energies, and it's learning to create the world within, while we work to create an environment that evokes harmony and personal empowerment. So definitely, yes.
That's really nice. I mean, I think all of us would like to walk into our home and feel that it creates harmony, that it creates an environment for us that, helps us succeed in the outside world.
Absolutely.
So I know that you're educated as a traditional feng shui specialist, but consider yourself an intuitive feng shui practitioner. So would you share with all of us, how did that come about and what does it mean?
I this is what I feel. I feel we all are intuitive, and just like any other science or art, feng shui has an element of intuition. The best way I like to describe this to people is: does your home really make you happy? Do you feel comfortable in your surroundings? That's your intuition telling you what you really want from your home. If you can come back at the end of the day to a home that is peaceful and happy, and you feel like, wow, this is where I want to be, I don't want to go anywhere, I want to relax in my bedroom or my living room, that is basically intuition playing a part in your home design. It's what is affecting you. Intuitive feng shui is basically also what I feel, bringing in your intuition into feng shui. What feels good to you does not need to be really corrected, and that's how I feel about it. If there's a plant sitting on your kitchen counter and you feel like, but the feng shui practitioner told me that I shouldn't have plants here, but that plant really makes your day early in the morning, it cannot be bad for you. So that is what intuitive feng shui is. It's basically harmonizing your insides with your outside and intuition plays an important role in it. So you go by what you feel about your home, not just what is written in the books about how you should do your home.
I love that. I think that makes it softer in a way. I think there is maybe it's a true conception of traditional feng shui, or maybe it's a misunderstanding, but that things have to be especially in a certain way or it's out of alignment. And I love that you're saying that if it feels good to you, if for you it creates calm or peace or happiness, then it's correct. And I think that's a wonderful thing. It prevents it from being maybe cold, maybe sterile, maybe
Right.
maybe just the science aspect without the emotional piece. So I love that you bring that together.
Right.
So how did you discover that this was how you functioned as a practitioner, that from the intuitive place?
I think it happened very naturally. I do not even know when I started really doing intuitive feng shui, because to me it was all about what my clients feel happy about. So it's my intuition coupled with their intuition. I talk to them. I understand what they're looking for. And it cannot be something drastic like changing your furniture overnight or changing the colors of your wall. It has to be peaceful to their souls. And so I realized that doing intuitive feng shui was so much more better than doing just traditional feng shui, because that way you're really reaching your heart and your soul. And when a person comes back to their home at the end of the day, they feel it, they connect with their homes. So I feel there is no other way to do feng shui but to do intuitive feng shui. That is the only way to go about it.
It sounds right to me. So I can see behind you there's a piece of artwork. And I know that from talking to you before that you've shared that this is can be, not every time, but can be an integrative part of what you do. So would you describe to us or tell us about that piece of artwork and how it is incorporated into the work that you do?
I paint feng shui paintings. And what that really means is that feng shui is based off of harmony with elements in your home. There are elements in feng shui: earth, water, fire. So these are the things that your home, if they are in balance, your home is in balance. Now, it's not always conducive for us to put a plant in a certain space or to put a symbol of fire in a certain place, and sometimes people don't want it. What feng shui art does is I paint those symbols and those elements and those colors in my paintings. So if somebody is lacking passion in a relationship, that means they're basically lacking fire. And fire is symbolized by red and a triangle. So I would paint those in my paintings, and just having that painting around you, just seeing it around in your environment on day-to-day basis, does the same thing as a real fire element in the same room. So that's the beauty of it. And a painting can incorporate all the elements at the same time. It doesn't have to be just one element. This particular painting I painted, this is a Ganesha actually, and I painted for the growth and harmony in the house. So it has the colors of growth, of fame and reputation, of harmony, of balance. And so this is more of a very generic feng shui painting, but feng shui paintings can be really specific, like you want your career to go ahead, or you really want your kids to prosper. So those can be more specific. Or health, that can be way more specific. Or what do you want from feng shui when it comes to health? Do you have an ailment? Do you have a cough and cold on a regular basis that you want to get rid of? Do your kids always keep falling sick? So there can be different ways that you could incorporate that in colors and in shapes and put it around you.
That is so interesting. So would the painting be for the home or for one room specifically?
So if the painting is painted for the generic reason or just the balance and harmony in the house, it can be anywhere. Ideally the center of the home. But if it is painted for kids, it needs to be in the Bagua section of kids in the home,
Got
or
it. Okay.
romance, it has to be in the Bagua that denotes romance in the house. That's how it works out. Then it's
So
more powerful.
this is the tiniest thing that I do know about feng shui. You mentioned the word bagua, and that's a map, right,
Yes,
of the
yes,
home, right? I
yes.
got it right? Yeah.
You did.
So the map then shows the designated places that are the best thing for certain aspects, like romance, kids,
Right, right.
wealth, that kind
So
of
every home is, when you stand at your front door facing inside the house, you see the house from that point on, and every house is divided into 9 sections. And the 9 sections can have fame and reputation, health, children, career, wealth. It is a conglomeration of those things, but each section of the house is basically it has that element. So there's health, which is the center of the house, or they can be fame and reputation, which is the far end of the house. So that's how the house is divided. So when I am working with my clients and I'm working on their relationship, I work on that part of the house that denotes relationship in the house as per Bagua.
Very interesting. So I have a question that might be completely wrong, but I'm curious. It's my own curiosity. Does the bagua and the feng shui of the home, does it relate also to similar things to the physical body? Is there a relationship between the two? You know how they talk about if you dream of a house, you're dreaming of the aspects of yourself. Is it
Oh,
similar?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I feel, and that's, you're basically talking about intuitive feng shui there.
Ah, yay, I knew something else.
So, and it is such an important aspect, Liz, of feng shui. And that is why I keep saying intuitive feng shui, because there really isn't a way to do it without your internals being happy about it, without you being happy about it. So definitely there is a huge sync between your home and your heart. And that is intuitive feng shui, in fact. Yeah.
Very interesting. So this leads me to my next question, which really was so interesting to me, is you do home naming. And that really sparked my interest, that what is it and why is it important? And also I just wanted to share with you, as we talk, I'm really starting to understand why our home in a way needs to be happy and healthy and comfortable, and why feng shui might be important. So share with us, if you will, about home naming.
Absolutely. Home naming ceremony is actually my favorite ceremony in feng shui. I love, love, love it. And the reason I love it is because it is very, very intuitive, and it really connects you to your home on a very different, connects you with your home on a very different level. Home naming basically means you're considering your home to be a person. You're giving it the respect that you would give a person. Naming ceremony is where you name a child, and home naming ceremony is the same thing, where you name your home. And it can be as simple as just thinking of a name and meditating on it for 30 seconds and saying, this is what I want to call you, my home. This is what how I want to address you. And before I go further into it, let me share a little story about my own journey with home naming ceremony. I moved into this home at the beginning of this year, so very recently. This is a newer home, and the day we saw this home, I knew what I was going to name this home. And the day we came to, we didn't even know if we were going to close on this home or not, but I knew that this is what the name of this home was going to be if I had it. And I enjoyed it. I meditated on it, and I named the home. And you feel, the home starts to respond back to you if you give it that respect that you would give an individual, or if you give it that honor that you would give a person. So basically, naming a home is basically giving honor to your home. Now, there can be many facets to it, and one of the most interesting things is how do you honor your home? It's not just naming it. Naming is just the beginning of it. You honor it by respecting its space, by keeping it decluttered. Just as you would bathe a child for cleanliness, you know, now it's a person. It's not just walls and doors and windows. You've given it a name. So now it's your responsibility to respond to it the same way as you would to a person. So you keep the clutter out, and these things start affecting you on a very different level mentally. You start respecting the space of the house. You don't use your dining table for your office work anymore, or you don't use your couches for sleeping anymore. You use your bedroom to sleep. You don't use your bedroom to eat your food, you know? So you start respecting the space of the house in that manner, and it all falls back together very beautifully, because this is all an offshoot of naming a home, which essentially means you are giving the house an honor of being a person in your life.
Okay, that's a little bit, I mean, it's like mind-blowing and amazing. So, is it my understanding this would kind of be a starting place for a person to begin to see their home in a different way, to have respect and honor for the space? I mean, I think that's huge. As Westerners, we do not think of our homes in this way.
Right. And you know, true. I feel this could definitely be a starting point, or it can be somewhere down the line. You know, you have to feel right about it, and you have to feel ready about it. Because once you enter the home naming ceremony, you can't go back and forth and say, okay, now I'm done. I've named my home, but I'm still keeping the clutter, and I'm still eating my food on my bed. And, you know, it doesn't go well. It's a ceremony which you need to live up to. It's not just on a paper. So you have to be mentally and emotionally ready for it. And only you know when you can be ready for it. It can be the start of something, or it can be in the middle, or it can be in the end of feng shui work or cycle, or your own lifestyles.
Yeah, that really makes sense. You know, I can see where when you equate it to a child and the way, you know, a naming ceremony, I think most of us Westerners don't really have naming ceremonies for children. You know, it's a great idea, because I love the word that you use, to honor. It is an honoring when you give a child a name. It's an honoring when you name your home.
Absolutely.
And it does change, like you're saying, the way you consider, the way you the respect, the honoring, and that you're going to care for that now as a being.
Right.
It's a beautiful idea. And I think something that really might take some getting used to, but once you're aware of it, wow. I mean, how can you leave your home a mess? How can you leave it uncared for if it's a being?
Oh, yes,
That's
absolutely.
So big.
And that is the reason it's my favorite thing to do in feng shui, where I lead my clients. It's so powerful and so empowering on such a different level, that you connect and bond with your space in a very different manner, and you will see the home has so much to offer to you, just not the protection and safety. There is so much the home can give you back. You're feeding off of your environment every single day. What you see is what you create for yourself in your life and in your space. So it's all an exchange. You know, what you see is what you're creating inside. What you create inside is what you're creating outside. And once you understand that whole concept of how powerfully this whole concept works, you begin to have so much more appreciation for a home naming ceremony.
Yeah, I mean, it's really beautiful. And I can understand that, you know, if you're nurturing your home in that way, then your home can nurture you so much more.
That's really beautifully said. Yep.
Yeah, I really appreciate you sharing that. Thank you so much. It's really, for me, it's huge. For those of you who know me, my work is one small shift creates the biggest change. And I can just see the expansion from that tiny shift, even of just before you name the idea of honoring it as a being. Wow, really, really huge. So let's say that a person wanted to have this, talk to you about home naming ceremony. Do you guide them through a meditation? How does it work for you to help someone with a home naming?
So it's really very simple. We just we sit down together, we chant a few mantras, which doesn't have to be very long. It can just be literally 20, 30 seconds. We burn some sage and Palo Santo just to purify the environment. And all we do is take a piece of paper and write the name of your home with red ink. And that's literally all there is. And then just kind of telling the home, thank you. I'm naming you David today, for example. Thank you, David, for taking care of me, for protecting me. And I hope we can start a really nice relationship from here on. I will take care of you. And in turn, I want you to take care of me. It's just as simple as that.
Yeah,
it's just
I love that. And like you said, a person really has to be ready for that.
Yes.
So did you help a person understand when they might be ready, kind of guide them through that as well?
I think anybody who shows a tiny bit inclination in Feng Shui is ready. Mm-hmm. I think that's really the starting point of it. You are ready. You wouldn't talk or reach out to me if you were not ready for Feng Shui. And if you're ready for Feng Shui, you're ready for home naming ceremony. So yeah, it really is. It goes together.
Yeah. What an exciting idea. I really love it. I have to share with you. It's interesting. I've lived in my home for more than 20 plus years.
Wow.
And what's interesting is when we moved into our home, we really only planned to be here a really short time. And we ended up, opening 3 businesses and being so busy. And, a baby came in this house and we remodeled, and we've just stayed here. So, I always kept thinking, we're going to be going to a different home. We're going to be moving. And as my oldest daughter moved out, my son is 16 and he's still here, but soon, he'll be gone too.
Right.
We thought, now we have too much space. We think, we'll probably just stay. So there's this mentally settling in.
Yes.
And so our home has, I love to garden, and we have mimosa trees.
Ooh.
And we got one as a gift many, many years ago. It was a root stump, the ugliest thing you've ever seen. I never thought it would live. And this beautiful mimosa came out of it. So a mimosa tree has these very delicate little leaves. They pray at night. There's this pink fluff that smells like heaven. So I really, really love them. So they tend to drop a lot of seeds. And so we get new mimosa trees around the house.
Oh, fun.
And my aunt taught me about what are called volunteers. They volunteered to grow in your yard. You didn't plant them.
Oh,
fun. Such a hard time. Once they've taken root and gotten to a size, I have such a hard time taking them
you can ship some to me now.
I know. So I do. I give them away, and but because of that reason, we have many that have just grown up in the most perfect and beautiful spots.
Beautiful.
So I started for myself referring to the house as Mimosa Grove House, because
beautiful.
It has, and it made a difference for me. Just that, and it was in fun. I didn't know about home naming.
Yeah.
It was just in fun, but it really did have a way of cementing a relationship.
Oh, absolutely.
21 years. So from what you're saying, it really sparks an interest in my mind about that really at any time in our home, we can create this relationship.
Totally. Yeah. Today can be a day, tomorrow may be a day. You don't have to find the right time to do it. Yeah. Any time that you're ready is the right time. The only thing that is important to understand and know is that you can go back and forth on it. Then you need to respect the relationship, because if you are not able to keep up to the relationship, and it's not a lot to do, apart from just taking care of not messing up what room you use for what purpose, or occasionally cleaning your home or drawers. It's not a lot that home asks out of you, but you get so much more in return, so much more. I have had clients who have actually found amazing jobs because of the ceremony. I was working with a couple that was not able to conceive for the longest time. And who knew that a home naming ceremony would bring out those energies and kind of spark them up, and they got pregnant because of that. So it's very, very powerful. The home has the ability to give you what you want in your life if only you respect it like that. And that's a beautiful way to look at it.
Yeah, I think I personally could understand that. The grounding, which is first chakra, root chakra,
Right.
grounding with your home, second chakra, creativity, childbirth, all of that, giving that, creating the roots of naming a home and honoring a home and the settling of it. I really could understand how that would help with conception and many, many, many other things. So it's
so many more things.
Yeah, it's really such an amazing idea.
Right.
So, okay. So I have to ask you, everybody wants to know, we're all probably wanting to go out and name our homes, but give us one little tip. So something from Feng Shui that we could actually use today in our homes. I know there's probably 3 million, but give us.
Gosh, so many. And I could actually do a whole new episode on that. That's my favorite thing to do. But if I had to give you just one tip, I would say, bring a plant in your bathroom. It's the energies in the bathroom can slow down the chi of the whole house. And so putting a plant in the bathroom can actually be super powerful. It purifies the environment, and it kind of purifies the chi in the bathroom too. Now finding a plant for the bathroom can be a tough thing because there may be no light there.
Yeah.
There may be a lot of humidity in the bathroom. So you have to find plants that are conducive to that. I know that money plant works really well. Bamboos work really well. So, and there's a ton of those kind of plants that work really well in an environment where it's really humid. One thing I would tell my clients is never to bring cactus in the house, the plant cactus. It has thorns, and it has inhibited growth. You don't want those kind of plants in your space, even if they are very good for low lighting and high humidity spaces. You want to stick to plants that are more vibrant, that freely grow, that don't inhibit your own cells from growing. Thorny plants kind of bring thorny stuff in your life. You don't want that.
That's really interesting. Yeah, that was really interesting advice. I mean, especially if you're a cactus enthusiast. But
right.
So you said bamboo or money plant. So in my own house, we have 2 bathrooms, but one is right dead center of the house and has no light. So something like the lucky bamboo that maybe you see in Asian restaurants, that would work in a space like that.
Absolutely.
And then you said money plant. Is that like money wort? It has the circular.
Yes. And it grows really fast too. So you don't have to take a lot of care of that plant. Watering it once in a while is good enough, and it can sustain a lot of pressures of humidity and low sunlight. So those work.
Nice. Yeah, that's a really fun tip. I mean, who knew that the bathroom can slow down the chi of a home? So very interesting. Yeah. Okay, great. So if someone wants to work with you, how can they contact you?
The best way to reach me is through my website, www.heavenearthfengshui.com. All my information is there. You can email me from there. You can go on the contact us page, post me a question, ask me a question. I love answering people's questions, and it's interesting for me to see where they're coming from and what I need to work upon or bring into my clients' lives. So questions are always welcome. People can call me if they want to book an appointment. I also work with distant clients over Skype and Zoom. So yeah, there's a lot of ways you can reach out.
So there's so many more things to talk about. And, I'd love to have you come back and talk to us specifically about one thing you mentioned in this interview about how your home can actually create healing. I know that's a big part of your practice, right?
Right.
Helping heal illness and create well-being. So I'd love to have you come back and talk about that as well. I know that you're also have some very interesting ideas about ADHD, calming the
Oh,
home
yes,
for children.
absolutely.
How color and light therapy are helpful to children. I mean, those are fascinating ideas. I can only imagine how having that peace in a home would help a family struggling with ADHD. So
Oh,
there's
absolutely.
so many things to talk about, but the next time it would be wonderful to talk about how the home can really help you heal from illness. So I want to thank you so much for being with us. I think my mind's blown. I'm sure that our audience has so many questions and so many new ideas. So this is, again, Kanika Babal with Heaven, Earth, Feng Shui, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Heaven, Earth. In the heaven, and it's not heaven and earth on the website. It's Heaven, Earth, Feng Shui. Feng Shui is FENGSHUI. We'll, of course, give you the link below. Gosh, I'm just so excited to talk again. This is a fascinating subject. Thanks,
Absolutely.
Kanika.
Thank you for having me here, Liz.
Yeah, thank you. So again, this is Liz Larson with Transform One Idea, where the idea is that one small shift can create the biggest change. And today, I think we have learned one amazing small shift that really has the potential of changing everything. Thanks, everybody, and we'll talk to you again really soon.